Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And they want Bob Chapek fired.
Well, they've been wanting Bob Chapek fired.
They really want him fired. There's talk of shareholders revolting and trying to get rid of Bob Chapek as the CEO of Disney, but it sounds like it's a vocal minority.
Yeah, it's only going to matter if it's enough shareholders that make a difference.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about it. And the only reason we're talking about it is the mainstream media has picked up on this, and this is not, anything new. I mean, they were trying to get rid of Iger before, they've tried to get rid of Eisner before, and there are a lot of Disney fans that are very unhappy with Bob Chapek in terms of the cheapening of Disney. That being said, it all comes down to dollars. Is he bringing dollars in? And we know Disney Plus isn't doing the greatest, but that's across the board. That's, Netflix and everything is down.
Right, and what the board's going to look at when they look at this is, he's up so much more since last year. Of course, last year and the year before were pandemic issues.
Yeah.
But they hit like a lot of money last year, and there was like bonuses and stuff again. So they're going to look at that too.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things to consider here. We're gonna talk about and speculate, and whether or not it's actually a good thing.
That's what I want to talk about too.
If they get rid of Bob Chapek, because it is kind of a mixed bag with him. He is a bean counter, but he does seem to be more consumer focused.
Right, and the rumor is that he is wanting them to listen more to customers and try to deliver more what they think the guests and fans want, as opposed to, appealing to other groups of people. And not everything that happened with the finances were his fault either. A lot of movies and like Disney Plus and things like that were actually under Iger.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 256,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Talked a lot about Disney. Having worked in and around the company and being shareholders ourselves, now the thing with Bob Chapek is, he is known as Bob Chapek. He is definitely a bean counter. He does not like that term, but there have been significant upcharges in the theme parks, especially, and cutbacks, and people are blaming him.
But I also want to point out, before he was even put in, Disney did all that stuff where they started charging for parking, and they were raising prices on tickets, and the huge 25% price hike on annual passes and stuff.
Yeah.
That was all under Iger. I mean, I'm not trying to defend Bob Chapek. I'm just saying I don't think all the issues are his fault. And I'm concerned because it looks like he's trying to go more. He's trying to change the mandates to be more consumer driven. And if you get rid of him, you might get somebody else who's more about agenda and politics and trying to get themselves a cushy, job in the White House.
Yeah, so that was the thing about Bob Iger, is Bob Iger was a schmoozer. Hollywood loved him.
He wanted to be an ambassador to China.
Yeah, and he supposedly had his eye on the White House and all this other stuff.
Kissed China's ass. Got 2 theme parks there.
He did. So anyway, that was Iger, and a lot of the stuff that Chapek had to deal with, these were plans that were, set in motion by Iger, and I do believe the diversity and inclusion push that they were going to go through and audit the parks for problematic rides and all of that. I think that was a Bob Iger thing, given his own, personal political stances.
And what he wanted backpats for.
Yeah. And so, I don't think Chapek would have spent the money on that. He would have been
he would have been like, why are we spending money on this?
Why are we spending millions and millions of dollars retheming a ride nobody's complaining about when we could actually be, building something else?
Again, as a ginger and a woman, I did not think that we had to change the redhead in Pirates. I mean, I don't mind it so much. I mean, I think it's not as good. It's kind of dumb, that 10 for 10 and that's stupid. They once around, but they never, they're like, we're trying to be, thoughtful, inclusive, and, change history. But as the person who literally was what was represented there, it wasn't offended.
Yeah,
so,
Disney fans were very upset about that too. So I mean, this stuff did start on Iger's watch. Again, not to defend Chapek, but Chapek.
Well, yeah, he's made a bunch of his own problems.
Oh yeah, and we know he was in charge of the parks.
He's the one that cut back like Galaxy's Edge and all that crap because he was told to save money, so he did.
And that's what he was hired to do. The board specifically hired Bob Chapek during the pandemic to cut back on expenses.
Because Iger kept spending so much
Because
money.
Iger was out of control. So that's what the board's going to look at, and they're going to look at their ARPU and all this other
Right,
stuff.
because they want to make more money.
Yeah, so let's look at this. This is coming from the New York Post. Again, it's kind of bled out from Disney forums into the mainstream media. Outraged Disney shareholders want CEO Bob Chapek voted out. The magic is gone. A group of Disney fans fuming over soaring ticket prices and long lines at theme parks.
It's bad. It really is bad. If you see the pictures,
Genie,
they're just like, yeah. Again, Genie Plus was Iger.
Yeah.
It was an Iger thing.
It was.
It was announced like back in 2019. It was an Iger thing.
They bought the company's stock and are threatening to vote against CEO Bob Chapek's re-election at a March 9th annual shareholder meeting. The irate fans took to Reddit to organize against re-electing Chapek, who grabbed the reins. He didn't grab it. They put him in charge. Grabbed the reins from longtime CEO Bob Iger.
He didn't grab it. There was something went down. And I don't think it was Iger was okay with the situation.
We'll never know the truth. But if I had to guess, I think the board saw that Disney was headed into choppy waters because of the pandemic.
Iger overspent.
And Iger was known for overspending. He way overspent on Fox, and he just kept spending and spending and spending. And they're like, we need somebody who can rein in the spending.
All I know is when it went down, there was a news conference announced very hastily. Bob Iger looked like someone had kicked him in the balls or kicked his puppy. And Bob Chapek looked like, oh, shit, deer in the headlights. Like, oh, my God, what's going on? So it didn't look like it was a planned thing.
No.
I don't think either one of them agreed to it or saw it coming.
They've been griping over price hikes of tickets. That's been going on for years.
They've been doing that before Chapek.
Yep, food and merchandise at Disneyland, Disney World.
Same
prices.
Before that's been going on Iger and Chapek.
Yep, as well as declining customer service at theme parks.
It's gotten pretty bad lately. Yeah.
It has gotten bad. It has. In a thread called "Unhappy with the Current State of Disney Parks," one Reddit user wrote, "If you're a Disney shareholder, you likely received an email yesterday asking you to vote in the annual meeting." I think we did.
Well, we would if we have shares.
Yeah, I think we did. I gotta look. Bob Chapek is up for re-election to the board of directors. This is the most direct way to let Disney know if you're unhappy with his leadership, at least more so than complaining on Reddit or signing an online petition. Now I have almost 100,000.
Yeah, but you don't know how people actually... They're going to listen to the stockholders, the shareholders. They're not going to listen to the general public who's just pissed to pay more because they're happy you're paying more. They want to make more money.
It may seem insignificant and will likely not be successful in removing him directly, but recall that Michael Eisner lost 43% in 2004 after Roy Disney led a campaign to oust him, and he was removed shortly thereafter. We can do it again. And who is the suggested replacement?
Who is the suggested replacement?
I don't know. I want to know. You get rid of them.
They'll probably say Josh tomorrow.
One angry shareholder who recently visited Disney World's Epcot vented over long lines the fact that they have to now pay for access to FastPass.
Yep.
That is a common complaint. A program that allows customers to make reservations for rides without having to stand in line.
I want to clarify this, okay? Genie Plus was announced back in it was before the pandemic. So it was like 2019, I'm thinking. It was before the pandemic even hit. They announced they were going to do this. It was supposed to roll out sooner, but the pandemic pushed it back. That was all under Iger. I mean, Chapek, I'm sure, was involved because, if there's any way to save money and pinch out more money out of guests, he's going to be like, hey, let's do that. But
pinch a loaf of magic.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to pinch and get some blood out of there. But,
ouch.
Yeah, this is not all him. I mean, I don't like Chapek that much either. Don't get me wrong. But if you're going to be fair here, it's not all his fault. Iger did plenty of this was Iger. A lot of the massive price hikes, the biggest ones we saw, came from when Iger was in.
Yeah, and the disappointment that is Galaxy's Edge, that was Iger and Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, and he was really arrogant about it. Star Wars,
don't need to advertise it. Just put it aside.
That was Iger.
I just have to tweet it's open and people are just going to pile in.
I mean, I don't care for Chapek. I think he made a lot of the cuts that I hate. So, I mean, don't get me wrong here.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to just say it's all him because I don't believe that is the case. I don't believe it's all him. We know that Christine McCarthy, the CFO, has some say in it when she's talking about, shrinking portion sizes and raising prices because we're going to help the guests with their waistlines because they're fat.
Yeah, don't want those fatties at Disney. They're not Instagrammable. They take up two pictures. Two squares on Instagram. Okay, the magic is gone. Parks are oversold.
It's true, though.
2-hour waits for everything. Major rides like Ratatouille and Rise of the Resistance down all day.
We called that. Remember when you said Rise of the Resistance wasn't ready, and they
You're
called
lying,
your name.
Clownfish.
And the same people that were being assholes about us are now saying the exact same damn things.
I know, right? Will we ever get an apology? No, we will not. We will not. They'll just find something else to bitch about. Charging for parking at Disney resorts. The user wrote, no parades.
That happened before. That was Iger.
Yep, no parades, food prices out of control. Look, they're trying to make up the lost revenue from the pandemic. And what happens is they're like, okay, the deck has been reshuffled. So if people don't miss this stuff, now's our chance to just not bring it back.
Some of these choices, though, I think is Disney trying to cover their ass and not get sued over pandemic shit. But or more likely, they're using that as an excuse to not run these expensive things so they can pocket that money, but say it's because they don't want to get sued.
So they're calling him Bob Paycheck.
Yeah, I've heard that one, Bob Paycheck, yeah.
We always called him Cheapek, but yeah, whatever. Other shareholders called out Chapek's hefty $32.5 million compensation.
Iger got way more money. We don't even know what his huge parachute thing was when he retired. He got
hundreds of millions.
They said it was like 9 figures or something. I don't remember how high, but they said it's high. We aren't going to know what that was until the next investor call.
I would not be surprised if he walked away with, I mean, given everything he did for the company and...
Then all of it was good, though. A lot of it was shit.
I would not be surprised if he got 200, 500 million, something like that. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, it really wouldn't. Yeah, so Chapek is actually the cheaper option. That might have been part of the thing, too, is like, we got to save money. We can't have Bob Iger. So let's get Chapek in there. F Bob Paycheck. I become much less trustful of this company's leadership. I vote against Paycheck. And for all the shareholder topics the board doesn't want you to vote for, explain that hiking prices and penny pinching juices Disney's financials, which benefits management, not customers.
But can I bring up a point here that I don't understand? They're going on about there's more people in the parks and it's overcrowded and all this other shit. But they're also complaining about the price hikes. But the price hikes are there to try to keep the people from, it was trying to price it up higher to keep people out, but it's not. So what are you supposed to do about that? Just say, okay, half you have to leave because...
Sure. We don't want
to wait in line. I mean, I think the lines are more to do with the Genie Plus. A lot of people say don't even use it unless you're paying just for Lightning Lane access.
Christine, do you have a suggestion? Yeah, Bob, I think we should weigh all the guests before they go in. And the really fat ones, we just don't let them in.
That's right. They take up too much room. We can fit more. We can fit twice as many people.
I mean, this is why we had to stop the buffets. We were losing too much money.
One of the buffets are because of COVID.
Nah, I know. I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah, they're complaining about the Galactic Star Cruiser. Everybody is.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and that's another one. That was Iger.
That was Iger.
These are all these.
I'm actually shocked. Again, I am still shocked that they went ahead with the Star Cruiser.
Now that was that would have been Iger and Chapek because Iger just left. So a lot of these choices, Chapek was in charge, but Iger had himself in there for the longest time until later into 2020 that he was still making himself the mouthpiece. Yeah.
Or the mousepiece.
That's right, piece of mouse.
Piece of mouse. Yeah. So do I think this is going to go anywhere? I would be shocked if it did.
If there's enough people, it would take a significant number of shareholders. The problem is, the people that hold the majority of the shares are happy that they're getting a big paycheck for the company doing well, and they're attributing it to Chapek. Yeah. So it's possible it might have impacted, but I'd be surprised. What do you think?
I think they're basically taking all of their frustration with Disney, and this has been years in the making. It's not just Bob Chapek.
It's not just him.
It's been over the last 10 to 15 years. It's been very, very noticeable, and that was actually before he came in as the chairman of Parks and Resorts. That Disney has become noticeably more budget cut.
Well, that's why they brought him in. Yeah. It was because they knew he could, cut corners and save them money because they're about making themselves money. And with all these people going on about Iger, you have to remember, Iger overpaid massively for Fox. And he started all this other stuff. I mean, Disney Plus was a good move because it kept them going. But they were called out because they didn't have the funds and the resources they should have had in case something bad happened because of Iger's overspending. And he bought up Marvel, and he bought up Star Wars, and he bought up all these things, and that's great, except now it's a running joke that it's the Borg, because they own all the IPs. They don't handle them in the best way.
No.
Sometimes.
Most times.
Yeah, so it's a long time coming. And it might be to the place here now where the board's just like, hey, we lost all the money before the pandemic with him overspending. We lost money during the pandemic with the overspending. And now they're looking at him to cut every corner possible to get them the money. But at the end of the day, it's about the board making money.
Yeah.
And the company.
If you want to, I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to be a dick, but if you want to blame somebody, blame Disney's customers because they keep giving the company money for subpar, overpriced products.
Y'all are mad because the lines are long and your trip wasn't as fun as it was. You just gave them all your money. They don't care now. You already gave them your money. They're on to the next.
Yeah, the lines are long because everybody's giving them money. I mean, that's the thing. The only way that they're going to learn a lesson is if they see it in their bottom line. If parks attendance drops off a cliff because people are like, it's no longer worth it anymore, or food spending goes way down because people are like, I'm just going to brown bag it because I can't.
They'll start telling you can't bring food.
Yeah, well, Hershey Park does. You're not allowed to bring food. So I mean, until consumers put their foot down and say, this is it, Disney. We've had enough. We're not coming every year like we used to. We're done. And enough people do that, then they will course correct. But until then, it doesn't matter if they get rid of Chapek, they'll put somebody else in, and it's going to be the same thing.
It is. They're just going to find somebody else to do the exact same damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bigger problem.
They might get Josh tomorrow because he has a better image, PR image than... Because Chapek, before he was CEO, everybody called him Cheapek then. Yeah. And they were mad at him for cutting stuff. But Josh tomorrow tends to, people seem to like him more. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily he, is a better choice. But I'm saying from a PR standpoint, he's usually the one everybody's like, I like Josh tomorrow. And he's out there talking about cast members all the time. And people would rather see him in there.
He didn't get booed at the 50th anniversary like Bob Chapek. Yeah. So, this has been, again, there are a lot of problems with Disney. Everybody's laying it at Chapek's feet.
It's not all his fault if you're being fair and honest.
Yeah, this is the way the company has been for several years now. It just hasn't been as blatant, I think.
I know I wouldn't want the job.
No, I wouldn't.
I would never want that job.
Hell no. Hell no.
It's more fun to be on this side and yell about it.
So, are we gonna wrap this up?
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.